how the world map looks wildly different than what you think. It's Jane.
And it's JV.
And we're going to see how the map looks wildly different.
Yeah, it's another real life lore reactions. Link to the original video will be in the description.
Check it
this
out.
This guy's been teaching us a lot.
I was going to say, I'm honestly like learning so much.
Yeah.
Shout out to the people who come to our live streams.
Yeah.
At like 00.
Yeah, let them know how it goes, the live streams.
Oh, if you come to our live streams, we go live on Twitch every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And you can come and make a request, and we react to it on the spot. And it's really awesome. And you get to hang out with us.
Yeah, so follow us on Twitch. Links are down below. And the link to this video is down below as well. And don't forget to subscribe to us and leave a like.
The map of the world is a lot stranger than you think it is, especially this map. You've probably seen it a lot in classrooms or office buildings.
Definitely.
But this map is extremely, very badly wrong. As we can all hopefully agree upon, the Earth is a sphere, and that means that it is impossible to accurately depict her surface on a two-dimensional map. This particular common map is called the Mercator projection, and if you'd like to experiment with countries for yourself, please go to this website called thetruesize.com after this video to see what I'm talking about. Let's take the US state of Wyoming as an example. Under the assumption that Wyoming is actually a real place and not a land full of tumbleweeds with a population less than downtown Baltimore, this example will work perfectly because of the state's square shape. As we stack one unit of Wyoming on top of each other, we get more and more distorted as we approach the North Pole to the point where we don't even really recognize its familiar, boring shape anymore. When we move our Wyoming stacks south, they get more squished together as we approach the equator. This will happen with every other landmass in the world, but first, let's take a look at some other US states. They say that everything is bigger in Texas, but what is Texas itself bigger than? Moving the borders over to Europe, the answer may surprise you. Texas is much bigger than Spain and Portugal put together, and is also even bigger than France. But Texas is only the second biggest US state behind Alaska, which seems absolutely gargantuan at the top of our map. But while Alaska is large, it isn't that large. Taken down to the US mainland, it compares like this, and taken to Europe, it looks like this. And while we're here in Europe, let's take the time to understand how much bigger Europe seems than what it actually should be. Let's start by taking France and moving it down to Africa to get our first glimpse at this. The United Kingdom seems pretty large as well, but let's take India and move it over to see just how small it really is. The United Kingdom is actually smaller than quite a lot of places in the world that you might not expect. Places like Japan, the Philippines, Sumatra, Madagascar, and New Zealand. Next door to New Zealand is Australia, and the UK looks so small just off the east coast in comparison. And Australia, in fact, is much bigger than most people believe it to be. It can be placed to cover almost the entire continental US.
You talk about how Canada is bigger than the US, but in maps it doesn't look like it.
Portugal, the Netherlands, Estonia, Albania, Hungary, Belgium, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Austria, Croatia, Latvia, the Czech Republic, Serbia, Switzerland, Slovakia, Lithuania, Denmark, Ireland, Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, the United Kingdom, Italy, Germany, France, Spain, and Norway. And that's not even factoring in big, but not too big, Alaska to the north. Between Alaska and the United States is Canada, which also seems huge up here. And while Canada is a very large country, it's actually roughly the same size as China, but still looks like a colossus when placed in Europe, where it stretches from east to west to Portugal to Iran and up north into the Barents Sea just above of Russia. Slightly off topic, Japan is another bigger place than most people believe it to be. If Japan were placed off the US East Coast, it would look like this in comparison. But much, much bigger than Japan, and also not often thought about is Brazil, which is an absolutely massive country. It doesn't really look like it on our map, but when we move it to Australia, we can actually discover that Brazil is much bigger. Which makes Brazil larger than one of the world's 7 continents.
I think it's bigger.
Brazil is also almost larger than the United States. Spans almost all of Europe, but fits rather snugly into Africa. We are about to discover that Africa is a colossal continent that we don't often realize. It can almost fit the entire contiguous United States into just the Sahara Desert, and the continent can also squeeze in China, Western Europe, India, Argentina, Scandinavia, and the UK, and still have some room left over.
The population of
Russia
Africa
is another place that looks pretty big at the top
Russia,
of the map.
holy, Russia's huge.
She also seems much smaller than what our map was telling us beforehand.
Oh,
while we're still here in Africa, the Democratic Republic of the Congo used to be a colony of Belgium, but Belgium, in comparison, looks like this. Finally,
Wow.
we need to look at a few other places on the map
Yeah,
to
Russia
the north
looks
and
huge.
south.
Russia's
Let's start with Sweden, which looks big, but comparing it to Madagascar again, we see
an
that it
election
actually
takes 2
isn't.
weeks in Russia.
Iceland also seems like a large island, but it's actually roughly the same size as Tasmania, just south of Australia. And finally, we have the white elephant in the room of Greenland, which towers like a behemoth at the top of the map. Greenland masquerades as being a continent in her own right, looking bigger than Australia, South America, and being comparable to North America. But in reality, Greenland is much, much smaller. The globe reveals Greenland to be the island that she pretends that she isn't, and we get a much more accurate depiction this time when we compare her to Australia, South America,
Wow,
and
look
North
how big it
America.
looks
And
on
of
this
course,
map.
we can't forget about the most shy
So
continent in the world that
disproportionate.
everybody always forgets about, Antarctica, who spends her time hiding
Wow.
away at the bottom of the map. Most people
So, wow,
don't
like
truly
20
have a good
times.
understanding
know,
of the
but
size
I'm
of Antarctica, which could probably go
impressed.
either way between being larger or smaller than you think. But the truth is, Antarctica is a huge continent. It is much bigger than Australia.
Oh.
It can stretch all the way from Kiev to Uganda, and incredibly, can be placed between the southernmost tip of Texas in the United States and stretch all the way into the northernmost islands of Canada.
That's
There are
bananas.
many more examples like this, but you've probably understood the point by now. The world is both a bigger place and a smaller place than you previously thought it to be. Leave your comments below saying what you found to be the
Alright.
most interesting.
Okay,
or another
so I
crazy
didn't-
fact you
why
may have
didn't it
discovered
ever
or
occur
already
to
knew
me
on your own. You can check out
That it would be distorted on a flat map.
Yeah.
Like, how did
yeah.
that never occur to me?
That's pretty awesome.
The live streams are teaching me so much.
Yeah, they are. We're learning a lot from, especially this channel.
Yeah,
Guys,
seriously.
if you like this stuff, go subscribe to this guy, like the video.
2.1 million subscribers. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
deserved.
And subscribe to us too, don't forget.
Yeah.
All right,
All
guys.
right, thanks so much for
Like
liking,
and comment
commenting,
and
subscribing.
subscribe.
Catch you next
We're
time.
out of here. Peace.
If you like that video and you want to see more, go ahead and click that square button.
And if you want to subscribe, click that circle button.
Thanks for being part of Team Go.